Hello everyone. Good evening. Om Shanti. Welcome to today's online webinar. Today we are having a very special topic, and our topic is being altruistic. And our sister Rehna is going to elaborate us on this topic. So before we begin our session, let me introduce Prajapita Brahma Kumari Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya. So, about this organization, Prajapita Brahma Kumari Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya, founded in 1937 in Hyderabad, Sindh, then a part of undivided India by Prajapita Brahma. So, Brahma Kumari has spread to over 110 countries in 5 continents of the world, and it has had an extensive impact on all sections of the society. It is working as an international NGO associated with the United Nations Department of Public Relations. The organization is committed to help individuals to transform themselves based on the understanding of their true spiritual identity. So Brahma Kumari is having 20 different wings, in which IT wing is one of them, Information Technology wing. IT wing is to introduce the basic concepts of meditation and spirituality in a very gentle and interactive, practical way through various events. It is to make simple and profound principles of Raj Yoga meditation accessible and applicable to IT professionals so that they can lead peaceful personal life and productive professional life. So to give spiritual sustenance to the IT professionals who can practice Raj Yoga meditation through these retreats, programs, our online and the offline webinar. To know more about Brahma Kumaris, you can visit our website www.brahmakumaris.com, www.brahmakumaris.org, and also you can visit our IT website at bkitwing.org. So being altruistics, in this topic, we'll know how we can uplift ourselves and also we can uplift others, those who defame you. So how we can use this spiritual practice and being altruistics. To elaborate this, we are having very special our sister Rehna. She has done Masters in Computer Science, MBA in Self and Crisis Management, Diploma in Business Communication, Soft Skills, IELTS trainings. She is associated with Brahma Kumaris for the past 14 years, and she worked for the advertising media as quality manager cum technical experts in Navi Mumbai. She has trained and certified Vihasa Facilitator, gold medalist in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, welcome sister, welcome to today's webinar, and please elaborate us on this topic, being altruistics. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sister Sapna and Brother Pitfalls, for inviting me to share my views on this topic on this platform. I know this series of talks has started many years ago and has been successfully running throughout the years. And thank you very much. And this, I believe, is the second time I am coming on this platform. I have come earlier, a few years ago, on another topic. So I can see a few participants whom I recognize. I have seen them earlier, a few of them. But whoever is not, whoever is new to this platform and this series of talk, a very warm welcome on my behalf and IST wing and the Prajapita Brahma Kumaris Ishwariya Vishwavidyalaya. So before I go into the topic, I would like to give you a little background on why I chose this topic and why it is relevant in today's time. Because yes, I have been a software professional. I have worked for 15 years in the non-banking financial sector in those companies and stock exchanges and the brokerage companies and securities, life insurance and all that. Yes, I have spent a large part of my life in development. In development and maintenance, and since last 1 year, Okay, so like sister said, I have been practicing meditation for the past 14 years. Since last 1 year, and these 14 years, I mostly dedicated in empowering myself. Okay, but since last 1 year, I have been listening to people. I am working on a platform wherein people can call us and talk about their problems, and I have been addressing problems for the past 1 year and 1.25 year. And what I learned from that experience is a lot of people, okay, in all walks of life, from all walks of life, be it the software industry and mostly software professionals in college, they are going through a lot of problems. Yes, there are two kinds of people, two categories of people. Some people know that they are going through some problems. The other set of people, they don't even realize that they are going through some problem. They just come and talk, and we know that they require help, and they are not even aware that they are going through some problem. They are they think that okay. Someone says that the audio is a bit low. Just a minute. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Is the volume okay now? Okay now?
Yeah, if we can make it slightly more, it will be great.
Okay. Earphones. Is it okay now?
Okay. Sapna, when you are able to hear?
Now, are you able to hear?
Yeah. Now without headphone, I
With
think.
earphones, it's better. It's better.
Yeah, better. Yeah.
Okay. Just let me check once again. Okay, I think it's better. I mean, you could slightly increase the volume of your systems as well. I have increased the output audio to the maximum. So I think you're able to hear better. And I hope you have heard what I said. I'll just conclude and summarize it in a few words, what I said right now. I said that I have worked in the software industry for some time. And I have also worked as worked or rather volunteered as a meditation practitioner, meditation teacher, a guide and a mentor and a speaker and a counselor as well. But since last 1 year, as sister said, I have been practicing meditation for the past 14 years. But since last 1 year, I have been listening to people, helping them, find their lost, I could say fuel. Okay, they are really running out of steam and fuel even for basic things that we do in life, the daily routine things. They find it difficult even to go about or perform the basic activities that we generally perform, the daily, what do you say, the routine things. Like even some people find it difficult to get out of bed and do the brushing and the bathing and go to office. They have really lost that energy or enthusiasm kind of thing. So being altruistic, this topic is very relevant in these times. You will come to know, at the end of session, I hope I would be, I would be successful enough to inspire you or give you a little bit of direction towards this thing. Because there are two things. As a spiritual practitioner who regularly attends the knowledge and does meditation, we have a slightly different definition and practice of altruism. But from a worldly perspective, it is slightly different. So I'll talk about both the perspectives, the spiritual perspective and the worldly perspective. Both are equally good. Believe me, there is very little difference between the two, but the difference is significant in the action level. Okay, so I'll just take the worldly perspective first. Why you need to be altruistic? The altruistic word meaning is that the concern, okay, unselfish concern for the betterment of others. Okay, so it is more of a mindset than an action. Okay, Because in these times and since times immemorial, we have been practicing altruism up to some extent. Okay, say for example, on a family within the family, we are altruistic. Of course, we wouldn't be here if people were not altruistic with us. Starting with our family, with our starting with our parents, okay, our siblings, okay, our relatives, our friends, colleagues. All of them have contributed. You know, they have their role in what we are today. They have done it very nicely. Okay, so it is more of an more than just an action. It is a mindset, a way of living. Okay, and it is a catalyst for a positive change in the society. So altruism basically means a selfless concern for the well-being of others, but it comes with a little bit of a cost. Okay, a personal cost. The word meaning, you know, I won't bore you with a lot of, you know, fancy words or jargons. Okay, I'll just give you practical examples and a little bit of direction as to why you should opt for altruism. Okay, a Latin word called alter. Alter is also used in English word. Alter, the word altruism comes from the word alter, that is others, living for others. Okay, so every day we perform some acts of altruism. If somebody asks for something and it is abundant with us, okay, we share with them. Okay, so why should we study altruism, or why should we go with altruism, or why should we perform something? Why should we even think about others? There are many who ask me this question. I mean, my plate is full enough. I have enough things to do, and I am not full, abundant enough. Then why should I opt for giving others? Why should I help others? These questions come to me, and that is why I'm telling you the reason for all this. So it is something which will improve a lot of things, because of which people are suffering these days. The most of the people who calls me to discuss their problem, they're either going through stress or a breakup or a divorce or a separation or some anxiety or some fear. A lot of things they are going through. Okay, but how will altruism help in all these things? We'll see today. Okay, so there are many types of, and we'll just look at, as I told you, I'll take the worldly perspective first and then the spiritual perspective. There are many forms of altruism which you can perform. We'll just take a few of them. Okay, so first is an emotional altruism. Emotional altruism means it is driven by empathy and compassion. You feel compassionate for someone, you understand their pain or all the difficulties they are going through, and then you perform an altruistic act or you donate something. Okay, that is one. That is called emotional altruism. Okay, another one would be moral altruism. It is based on spiritual belief. Some of the religions and communities, they have this thing, this donation and charity in their religious studies, and they perform altruistic acts on a large scale. I'm not taking any names, you know better, okay, than me. A lot of a spiritual organization or a lot of religious organization or communities, okay, if they perform, this is called moral altruism because it's based on ethical and spiritual beliefs. Another one is reciprocal altruism. Reciprocal altruism is, okay, suppose there are two friends, one friend helps the other one, and then as a reciprocal act, the other one will help the first one. This is called reciprocal. You know, it is kind of a business dealing. I do something and you do something in return. Okay, that's one thing. And another thing is, you know, this is interesting to know. This is called drastic altruism. Okay, drastic altruism means when if somebody, you know, by some misfortune or something, they hit a rock bottom in their life. Okay, they are going through a huge crisis, any crisis, financial crisis, or some kind of loss in the family, or a business loss, or any loss, or something drastic happen in their life, and they have hit the rock bottom in their life. That is when they turn to altruism. They start giving things. Okay, अब सब कुछ हो गया, मुझे बस देना ही देना है, सबको देना है. That is drastic. Don't wait for this drastic thing, because you know it will also, all kinds of altruism has its significance, but don't. I would personally suggest not to wait for the drastic thing, because you know that will really drain you out. So if you assort to altruism, if you have a mindset of giving, okay, what to give, when to give, how much to give, and all these things we will just see in the later part of the session. So there is something called a giver's high or a helper's high. If you are in a position to give something to another, that something can be anything. It can be knowledge, it can be some virtues, kind of virtue, it can be a spiritual power, it can be some materialistic things, it can be guidance, it can be, you just give the other person some energy or enthusiasm or some good wishes or a direction or a guidance, anything. The giving part, the given thing, it can be um, a materialistic or a non-materialistic thing. Anything you give, you get a high. Okay, it's called the helper's high or the giver's high. Okay, the high is experienced because endorphins gets released in your brain. Okay, in the body. Okay, through all the relevant glands. I'm not an expert of all the glands and the endorphins itself, all that. But I know that a feel-good factor. In simple terms, we call it a feel-good factor. Okay, so that is experienced when you resort to altruism. And there are personal benefits also. The personal benefit is, say for example, somebody is going through a very bad phase in their life. Okay, and mostly based on my experience, my personal experience, and the experience I have heard from others. So mind you, I have spoken to, in the last 1 year, I have spoken to at least 5,000 people, who's going through a mental or an emotional problem. And based on that, I would conclude that all the mental, emotional issues and the spiritual issues happens because people have turned egoist. Instead of the opposite of altruism is egoism. Okay. So if you resort to altruism, your mental health increases, your happiness level increases, the contentment and life satisfaction increases, and on a physical level, your stress reduces, your blood pressure becomes normal, your lifespan also increases. We have, these are not just theories about the lifespan, because we have in our spiritual organization many examples wherein after turning spiritual, okay, after in our organization we have 4 subjects. We call the knowledge, the virtues, and the imbibements and the service. So once people start imbibing the knowledge and start imbibing the virtues in their life, okay, they start doing service. And service is all about giving. Service is never about taking. Okay, because we have a very good saying in Hindi, परमार्थ से ही स्वार्थ सिद्ध होता है. Parmarth means, again, altruism. We are living for others. When you start living for others, that is when your Swarth means Swa-arth, whatever you want in life. When we start living for others, that is when whatever we want in life, we start getting it in abundance. The more you give, the more you get. Okay, so even your lifespan increases. Our former administrative head, her name is Dadi Janki. Many of you might be aware of her because some of you might have listened to some sessions or might be associated with the Brahma Kumaris in one way or the other. The Dadi Janki had many diseases. She had digestive issues, she had respiratory issues, she had many issues. She overcame everything, purely based on her service and her devotion to God. Okay, so your lifespan also increases when you are, realistic in the real sense. Okay, not just a selfish altruism, a real sense, that giving, that mindset. If it is coming from your heart, it is very sincere, then your lifespan also increases. Okay, and obviously, you're in a social, on a social, from a social perspective, your relationship within the family and in the society both increase. Okay, and also it helps to build trust and kindness in cooperation and cooperation in communities when you're altruistic, you're selflessly altruistic. It reduces inequality and suffering because you have a nature of giving. Okay, your focus is on giving. So the more you give, the more you get. I mean, it's not that when you start giving, you will start losing everything you have. No, yes, that is true for some things like materialistic things. Okay, that is limited. Materials thing, money is limited, materials are limited, resources, the physical resources are, the natural resources are limited. All these things, okay, you have to have some care, you have to manage it. But there are many things which are unlimited. The more you give, the more it increases, like knowledge, okay, like happiness, like just a smile. I mean, if you join this session for the first time, you joined the Brahma Kumaris session for the first time, just check whether what was the last time you have smiled at a stranger, okay, a total stranger. You just smiled at them, okay. Even the thought of this simple act, like smiling at a stranger, it everybody gets frightened of it. Okay, they start thinking, okay, that person might think that I'm crazy, or I have lost my mind or something. Why is he smiling at me? Or maybe he wants something from me. Okay, all sorts of questions arises. So, so this is a very simple act. Now, why are you so afraid of what the other person is thinking? That's why it's strangers. This is an altruistic act. Okay, you don't have to donate millions of money or your bank balance or your expensive cars or bungalows to anybody. That is not the only definition of altruism. Okay, if you have it and you can afford giving it to somebody, you and if somebody is willing to take it, I mean, there's no harm in it. You can give, but a simple smile or when was the last time you appreciated something you saw in a stranger? Okay, you saw a stranger, you met a stranger in the bus or a train or while walking on the road, and you said something good about them. These are all altruistic acts. Okay, it might sound very simple, but it is going to create a huge difference for your mental health and your emotional health. Okay, so try to whatever is givable without making a dent in your resources. All these things has to be given. This appreciation, this love, this kindness within the family, within the society, in your workplace, all these things has to be given. Don't hold it back, because when you hold it back, no, there is something like knowledge. Okay, in our spiritual study, God says the more you donate knowledge, the more it will increase in you. And if you keep those knowledge stagnant without donating to anybody, it will lose its value and its significance. Okay, you lose the knowledge. But if you give it, it will increase. If you don't give it, you will also lose it. It's not that I have this knowledge, I will use it for my personal benefits. I won't give to anybody. It doesn't work that way. You have to give all these things, whatever the treasures you have, okay, which are abundant, and donating the same, it doesn't create any dent in your treasures. All those things has to be given. So it will reduce inequality and suffering. Plus, a very beautiful thing about giving is it creates a ripple effect. You know what is a ripple effect? If you have a pond with still water, if you drop a stone in it, it creates ripples. No? So your one act of kindness will create a ripple effect. Okay, you give something, you give a person a smile or an honest appreciation. Or say, for example, in the Middle East countries and in some states of the US, people do it. If they are standing in a line to pay the fuel bill, or they're standing in the counter of a supermarket or something, if there's one person, will say one person in the front will pay for three persons in the back. Okay. So when their turn comes, they will say, okay, your bill is already paid by the first person. Okay, like this. So it creates a ripple effect, because if I receive, we have this human tendency. If I receive something from unexpected, something good unexpected, I have a tendency to pay it forward. It's called paying it forward. So this is called a ripple effect. So we need this ripple effect in the society right now, because all are suffering. All are suffering, all are going through some problem or the other. So we need this acts of kindness right now in the society. Now, now we know what altruism can do good to us, but some people might debate about this. So one question that might arise in the minds of people is, do we always get something in return? Even just emotional satisfaction. Okay, I told you about the things which are not materialistic things like money or materials or the natural products and natural things. These are not these are exhaustible resources. It might get over if we overuse it. So people might think that, is it okay? Or even the non-materialistic things, like I told you, the knowledge and the virtues and the powers and the energy, the enthusiasm, the kindness, compassion, all these things. So people think that, is it always possible that I get something in return if I donate something? Okay. So here, as the sister was saying, that I'm a student of the Bhagavad Gita as well. I have been studying it since childhood. And one shloka, everybody knows. There are many shlokas in around 700 in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and 18 chapters. So one shloka which every single person who has lived in India or born in India knows, the Karmanyevadhikar. Okay, which is Karmanyevadhikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturvur ma te sangostav karmi. Which means कर्म करना है. ठीक है, कर्मण्येवाधिकार से मीन्स कर्म पर तुम्हारा अधिकार है. ठीक है, कौन सा कर्म? Some of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas are a little bit, people tend to distort it. कर्म पर तुम्हारा अधिकार है. ठीक है, एक्चुअली वो अच्छे कर्म पर तुम्हारा अधिकार है. ठीक है, बुरे कर्म पर किसी का कोई अधिकार नहीं है, बट फिर भी बुरे कर्म करते. बुरे कर्म इज व्हाट? समथिंग दैट गिव्स सॉरो, पेन एंड सफरिंग टू अदर्स. ठीक है, इस पर तो किसी का अधिकार नहीं है. अच्छे कर्म पर तुम्हारा अधिकार है, उसके फल पर तुम्हारा अधिकार नहीं है. ठीक है, मां फलेषु कदाचन. So we have to understand that doing good is my birthright. It's my right. Okay, I have to exercise my right, but I shouldn't exercise the what do you say? I have no rights on the fruits of my karma. फल पर मुझे अधिकार नहीं. I shouldn't be like, okay, I have done so much for this person. Now it's their turn to return the favor. Okay, that won't work, in most of the times. So you have to do this altruistic act with the mindset that I am doing this for my own good. Because based on the law of karma, whatever you do, even if you give a small piece of needle to somebody, even that will be returned to you. But when and how much? Okay, it is not necessary that if you just give just one needle, you will get only one needle in return, because karma is not just the action. Karma is not only based on the action. Karma is, I would say, 99% based on the intention behind your action, and not just the action. Okay, you might be donate, even if you are willing, or you have the capacity to donate millions of money. What is the intention behind that donation? Okay, that is what matters. If your intention behind donating that million money is to cause harm to somebody, then that is not a good karma, right? That is not a good karma. So intention is important. So even in altruism, and even in this sloka of Karmanyevadhikarasya, the intention, why are you doing this? Okay, that has to be taken care of. Otherwise, it's going to bounce back on you, and you will have to pay for it. Okay. So I would say that whatever we do with a good intention. Definitely, be 100%. It's a guarantee of God Himself. Okay, whatever you do, you will get. But don't think, don't waste your time thinking how much and when I'll get it. You will get, that is my guarantee. But when and how, I won't tell you. Okay, but because then it will be too, you will, it will be too predictable. The life would be too predictable if I know when I'm going to get whatever I have done in my life. So he keeps a little bit of suspense, but the guarantee is you will get it. Definitely you will get it. Okay. So another thing is, if you do something good for somebody, again, I'm saying this from personal experience, you do something good for somebody, don't cling to that person or that act. Okay, some people, they do something good for somebody and they are, clinging to that person. Okay, I've done good for this people, then this person has to, until I get the entire return from this person, I'm now going to leave him or her. Okay, पूरा वसूल करके रहूंगा, ठीक है? That is not a real sense of altruism. You do it. There's a saying in Hindi, नेकी करो दरिया में डालो, करो उसको छोड़ दो. Okay, don't cling on to that person or that act. The one thing is clinging on to that person. Okay, so पूरा वसूल करके रहूंगा. Another thing is, wherever you go, you start singing your praises. देखो मैंने इतना किया, मैंने इसके लिए ये किया, वो किया, उतना किया, बड़ा चढ़ा के बोलेंगे, ठीक है? So no clinging on to your act. Okay? So that is one thing you have to remember in altruism. Never cling to anybody, and not don't cling to the act, don't cling to the person, and never expect any result from anybody. You will get it, that's a guarantee. Don't expect any return from anybody. So there are some pitfalls also of altruism. One is over burnout. Okay, this I'm telling from the worldly perspective. This concept of burnout is not there in spiritual perspective. I'll tell you why later. Burnout is if you're overextending yourself. So see, everybody has their mental capacity, emotional capacity, intellectual capacity, all sorts of capacity. Everyone, a little bit of percentages is there, a limit is there. So take care not to overextend yourself so much that you have to take somebody else's help to restore your mental emotional state. Okay, don't do that. Don't overextend yourself. So you have to set boundaries wherever it is relevant. The boundaries is very important. Otherwise, as I told you, you'll have to take others' help to restore all your defaults. Okay, so overextending is one thing, and be very, very, very careful about exploitation. Okay, because there are people who are really drained out, and they, it's like an oasis. You might be like an oasis in a desert, but oasis also has a limitation also. So you have to take care not to get exploited by anybody, because exploitation can also, give put you in some kind of trouble. Okay, that you should be very careful about. Plus, this is very important. Listen very carefully. This is called moral licensing. Now, what is moral licensing? It's like you are doing some unethical, immoral, illegal acts, and then you're resorting to altruism to cover it up. Okay, this is called moral licensing. So never resort to moral licensing. Don't use altruism for moral licensing. Okay, so you have to take care to create a good, mindset and a lifestyle for yourself. Okay, be an acceptable person in the society, and then do the altruistic act, and then that will be, acceptable. Otherwise, this moral licensing, you might. I'm not taking any names. You know all the names, who resort to moral licensing. What are the sorts of people? What kind of people resort to moral licensing and use altruism for it? Okay, so this shouldn't be used at all. It is a very, very dangerous thing, because some people might make it a habit. किसी का नुकसान कर दो और एक तरह से आपका दान पुण्य कर दो, बस हो गया. That is not going to work, and that won't create a good society. So never resort to moral licensing. Never use altruism for moral licensing and all. And the sort of altruism, there are different kinds of belief system, or you say a pattern, set patterns. Some are individualistic and some are collectivist. Okay, so collectivist is the principle of giving in a group, a one group priority over the individual. Okay, जो भी है हम ग्रुप में करेंगे, होना है तो सबको होना है, और for some people it is individualistic. Okay, एक का हो जाए फिर दूसरे का पीछे पीछे हो जाएगा. These differences are there. So all these you have to take care before if that donation or your altruistic act is on a large scale. All these things has to be taken care of. But as I told you, if it is simple things like a knowledge or a virtues of ours, then all these things doesn't matter. You can do unlimited altruistic acts. Okay. So some practical tips for altruism would be one thing. Okay. As I told you, I have spoken to around 5,000 people, 5,000 or more than 5,000 people in the last 1 year. So what I found that most of them doesn't even have a person to listen to them. Now this is a cause of worry. Even children, all people from all old age people and children mostly. They have their parents, they have their friends, they have their colleagues, they have their relatives, and they have a lot of groups also. But still, they think that there is nobody who listens to them with perfect empathy or understanding. This platform where I'm working is specially designed for listening to people, and thousands of calls come daily, thousands of calls. That itself is an indication that there is nobody to listen to people. Okay, today children are given gadgets. Okay, children are not given the parents' presence or their sustenance or their empathy or their understanding or their teaching skills or their culture. The parents are not able to give children all these things. Luckily, uh, I have been brought up in an environment where I had plenty of people around me to take care of me. Okay, and everybody, all the children in my family were very nicely taken, and we have a lot of people to give us care and all. So these old age people and the youngsters, even the youth, okay, all walks of life in summary, even though they're surrounded by people, they think that there is nobody to listen to them. So this is the biggest kind of altruism, in my experience in the past 1 year. This is the biggest kind of altruistic act that you can perform. Okay, listen to people. Okay, because people want to be listened. People want to express themselves. People want attention. People want appreciation. People want kindness, compassion. All those things they want, and that is the highest treasure you can provide somebody, is listening actively and to have an empathetic view and try to understand the other person's struggle. Okay, small kinds of small kindness, acts of kindness, like as I told you, smile at a stranger, or you would say appreciate anybody. Appreciation. We have a program, as sister was saying. I am a facilitator in the Vihas also. We have an entire module of appreciation. What it does to people. Appreciation. They say that it is like we have to take care of a lot of things while we're appreciating. We have to be really truthful about what we are seeing the other person. We shouldn't exaggerate too much, or we have to be very specific, and it has to be genuine. And we have to take care that we don't use any spoilers, after the appreciation. All these things, and a lot of things, all kinds of spiritual values and moral values. If you have even one spirituality value of peace, okay, and donating that peace to somebody who really needs it, that is a big kind of altruistic donation. So you have to recognize, some people might think that, okay, I just have, say for example, if it is money, okay, I just have 1 rupee with me. What does this 1 rupee matter? And I'm not talking about monetary things here. Even if it is an act of kindness, okay, I have only this much. What does it matter? But never underestimate your treasures. Okay, whatever you have, whatever little you have, if you think it can make a difference to somebody, okay, even a small bird or animal, you do it. Okay, I remember a story that a person, he had the habit of making a little nest for birds, and he was a very poor person. Okay, whoever the birds that used to come around his rented house in a small village, he used to make nests for them. He used to provide water and grains for them, and he used to do this for many years. And that small kind of act was recognized, and he was given his own property and a house. So if he had thought, okay, I'm just helping birds, what is it going to do good for me? Okay, don't think like that. Even little acts of kindness can, make huge difference for your personal, benefit. It can work for your personal benefit. Yeah. Small contributions also matter, and never think that what am I good? Okay. मेरी contribution से क्या होगा? What good is my contribution going to do for the society? Never think like that. Even a small act, okay, even 1 rupee can make a difference, make a lot of difference. So we have the historical figures also, like Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa and all. I'm not going to into too much details of that because at that level of altruism, I don't know how much it will be possible for someone who's struggling with their life. Their time was different. Okay, but still we have a figure. We have people who donate a lot, do a lot of charity work in these times also. So we can take the example, and as I told you, we have to understand that our contribution also matters. It's not that whatever I am doing, it is insignificant. No, it is significant. Everything matters. It will gradually increase. Okay, the level of contribution you are able to make, no, it will gradually increase. You just have to start giving. Okay, it's like an entrepreneur, Mark Zuckerberg or the Steve Jobs, everybody. They didn't start big, right? They started a small company from the garage of their house, and you just have to start doing it, and all the resources will,
Looks like some network issue. We'll wait for a few minutes. Brother Pitabash, can you reach out to her?
Yeah, see.
Okay. Okay, meantime, I would request all participants to, take some reflection and bring some questions, because after these sessions, we'll have question and answer session. So be ready with your questions so that, in the question and answer session, we'll start on time. Yeah,
okay. Sorry for that interruption. There was some network issue.
no problem.
Okay. So small acts of kindness. Okay. Now I would ask you. You don't have to tell me. Just make a note of what altruistic act you can perform in this week. Okay. You can, if I'm sure everybody does something or the other on a daily basis, but something specific which you think that that will create a ripple effect. Okay. You just think for 1 minute as to what that might be. If you're willing to share, if you're okay with about sharing with us, you can put it in the uh, chat box, or else you can note for yourself one altruistic act that you can perform this week, which might cause a ripple effect. Just take 1 minute and think about it. Okay. Anybody want to share any views or put it in the chat box? One altruistic act, which you think that it will cause you good or other person good, and it might create a ripple effect. It can be small, very small to very large. Anything? I hope the chat box is open to all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone can share any one altruistic act, because we just don't want theory here. Okay, theory is very good to listen to. When it comes to practice, okay, you have to think. If you're made to think a lot, okay, that means you know what that means. We want, I want at least one answer. Yeah, one altruistic act you might perform over the week, which might create a ripple effect. Any, because if you want to achieve something, if you want to do something, first you'll have to think about it. No? Yes, you'll have to think about it. You have to make note of it. You have to plan it. Okay, and then execute it. And while execution, you might be faced with a lot of challenges. You might be, okay, or it can be easy also for you. It can be on a personal level. Okay, this is very important. The altruistic act. It can start with the personal level. How? You can start by appreciating yourself. You can act by very good. Amol Bhosle say he will feed a stray dog. Okay. Okay. So Amol, but don't you think that feeding a stray dog, and the stray dog will stick on to you, it might create a menace in your society. Okay. Think about the repercussions also, but it's the intention is very good. Feed a stray dog, which is very good. So I was saying it can start by appreciating yourself and identifying what all qualities you have, enhancing it, because only if your glass is full will you be able to pour from that glass to someone else. So first and the most important thing for altruism is to keep yourself full of treasures. Okay, both materialistic and non-materialistic. But in filling the treasures, you have to be highly spiritual, ethical, moral, all these things have to be taken care of. So however possible, how much ever possible, you do that altruistic act. So I just got one feedback, huh? Nobody else want to do any altruistic act. Nobody wants to appreciate yourself or somebody else. Nobody wants to be kind to somebody. Nobody want to. This is a big thing. Nobody want to forgive anybody. Nobody wants to forgive anybody and let go of the past or make any monetary contributions to the society. Okay. Nobody want to listen to somebody in trouble. Nobody want to spend their time to somebody so that they can be empowered. Nobody want to give. Yeah, Jitendra Sankani. You want to speak, brother? Do you want to speak? Okay, I'll just unmute you.
Yeah, he can unmute.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Jitendra brother.
Jitendra Sankani. Do you want to speak? If you don't want to speak, you can put your points in the chat box also. Okay. So someone is saying, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Jitendra brother is saying something.
Yeah, Om Shanti. Can I speak, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So, I was just listening to your webinar. Like, now I have a small question also, which can be, what I was thinking about the altruism. When we are working in an office and as a leader, if you are like appreciating your team's work, or like you are encouraging them, motivating them, is it also altruism, or it is a part of the motivation or encouragement in the corporate world?
Are you the leader or you are a team member?
I'm the leader.
You're the leader. Okay. Appreciating all the work that your team member doing, it is an altruistic act. Definitely, it is an altruistic act because people work not just for money. Of course, money is important. Money is, money gives you all the comforts and the luxuries in the life. It is equally important. But all the employees in any company, they spend most of their time, okay, in the year inside the office and not with their families. Family time, they're getting very few. The office time is majority. Okay, I would say 80% of the time they spend of their life is in the office. They're working for that office. So if they're getting an appreciation of whatever they're doing in the office, of course it will be the biggest what do you say, bonus, in addition to the money. So it is an altruistic act, and it will encourage them to stick on to you and work more for you. Because these days we are seeing the practice of employees getting laid off, just like that, without a second thought or without a blink, in a blink of an eye. Even I would say in huge numbers. Okay, they are not giving a second thought as to what is going to happen to this person. And we had an example. I was just reading a newspaper in the news article last week that one employee, the company was going through losses, but the employee, okay, he made sure that the number of people he is going to lay off are employed in some other company. He made sure that they are all employed and gave them the last month salary also, and then they laid them off. This is a very high altruistic act, and people can, this should be, I would suggest that this should create a ripple effect, because unceremoniously and unwillingly and very rudely laying off some people, that is that is a very I would say a low ethical act or a moral act, I would say. But that person made sure that these employees whom we want to lay off are employed in some other company. Make sure of that. So appreciating your employee will create a good, a societal cohesion and the organization cohesion, which is good for the, well-being of all the people in your company. Okay. So monetary donation, that is also an act of altruism. Time, I would say time, and a listening, an empathetic ear. Okay, that is a high, you don't have to spend any money there, but spending your time, giving your time, for some constructive purpose, listening to somebody, empowering somebody, giving them, some enthusiasm and zeal in their life. They must be depressed. They must be going through some, problems or the other. This is the need of the hour. People really, really need it, especially in your family. But then all these things, when you want to do an altruistic act, one thing I told you is, never cling to that person. If you're helping somebody, okay, you help and then you leave that aside. Okay, don't cling to that person and don't use moral licensing, and don't compel anybody to accept your altruistic things. Okay, you want to be altruistic and don't compel others. Okay, मुझे कुछ देना है, आपको लेना ही पड़ेगा. That also is not going to work. You have to help person in need. You have to check whether that person is in a state of mind to accept what you're saying or what you're giving. If they're not in a position to accept or accept even you as a person, so, forget about what you want to give them, then that would be a little bit difficult. In such cases, when the other person whom you want to donate something is not willing to accept you, what you can do is have good wishes for him or her, have blessings for him, because all these things doesn't need their permission. You don't have to take my permission to give me a blessing. But if you want to give me a 1 lakh rupees or something, that is the cost of fund. I might not take it. Okay. So one thing, all these things you have to take care. If you don't compel anybody to accept yours, don't use moral licensing, and don't cling on to person, and beware of burnout. Don't overextend yourself. Set boundaries. So we have another question here. How do we draw a line between exploitation and altruism? See, as I told you, you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. When you think that giving something is going to create a burnout or a huge dent in your resources, be it a mental resources or a physical resources, there you have to set a boundary. And if you think that what you give, if what you give others is going to be misused or abused, or is going to be used for or a destructive act, or an immoral act, or an unethical act, you have to be very careful about it. Especially in the case of money. If you donate money, and if the person whom you donated money is going to use it to harm others or consume some abusive substances or alcoholic substances or tobacco or something, or they're using it for some purpose which is going to harm them, you are also going to get some part of that, unethical, immoral act. So you have to be very careful what your donation is going to be used for. That is why I said these mental things, the knowledge, the virtues, the powers, the empathy, the kindness, these can be donated, abundantly. You don't have to put any boundaries in there. But again, here you have to be very sure that the other person, I mean, if you're like in this session, many people were there, many people left. We can compel them to stay, they were not interested in, or maybe I need to improve my skills, something like that. So whatever we are giving, we have to make sure if the person is accepting, well and good. If the person is not willing to accept, okay, have good wishes. Okay. After we you give blessings, have good wishes for them, and that is going to make a lot of difference. Okay, so all these things, altruism is also not very easy. People think okay, देना ही तो है, हम दे देते हैं. It doesn't work that way. देने में भी बहुत सारे conditions. There are a lot of factors that you need to be aware of and take care of when you are being altruistic. Okay. So this ripple effect, as I told you, some other points also came. Leave the seat to needy while traveling in public transport. Nagendra Sethi said, he just this I noted good points. Okay, the good points are noted. But so have you, Amol host, so have you decided upon any one point? Because we are getting a lot of points. You can't implement everything in one go. You have to start from one point. So you have to decide which one point are you going to use. Okay. So is there anybody who would like to share a point? What altruistic act? Okay, you can start with kindness, very nice. So is there anybody who's willing to share with us one altruistic act that you have performed in the past? Okay. Which caused a ripple effect or which was really beneficial to somebody? Okay. There are many, any altruistic act, which is, I would say, being a parent, being altruistic to your children. These are things, okay, that is also very important, not that it's not important, but something out of the box. Okay. If you want to share with us, you can share, because as I told you, it's a ripple effect. Sharing also is caring. To share such points, others might be inspired to, I would say, perform a similar kind of act. So if you have any point like that, you can share with us. At any point of the time in the remaining part. So now I will come to the spiritual part. Okay, these are all the worldly perspectives, as much as I can compile whatever, based on my experience and my research. These are all the kind of things you can do for being altruistic, which is really important. As I told you, time, knowledge, time, and empathetic ear. Okay, the listening skills. These are all very, very, very much needed, especially for children and for old age people. So if that is possible for you, donate more and more of it. Okay. So now in a spiritual study, God tells us about three categories of donation. Okay. So if you want to know this three, I will give a little bit insight into that. If you want to know more about it, you have to realize yourself first. The self-realization is very important before you get to know the depth of these 3 points, which I'm going to discuss with you right now. And the self-realization will come if you, take the initiative to study the basic 7-day Raj Yoga course, which is offered by our organization. After that self-realization, you can really, go into the depth of these 3 points, which I'm going to tell you now. One is a Dani, second is a Mahadani, and third is a Vardani. Okay, Dani, Mahadani, and Vardani. These are 3 kinds of, altruistic people or donors, which God talks about, or the BK philosophy talks about. So I'll tell you the difference between Dani, Mahadani, and Vardani. Dani is a donor. Okay. What he does is, okay, I'll start with Vardani. Okay. Vardani is, in English, we say a bestower of blessings. A bestower of blessing, what that person does is, that person first imbibes all the knowledge, the virtues and powers within themselves. They are complete. Okay. I would say at least a 95% complete, full with knowledge and powers and wisdom and virtues and values. Okay, they have imbibed it in themselves and they practically apply it in their life. So if somebody comes in contact with that person doesn't have to speak a lot about donation or being altruistic. Okay, because they are naturally that way. They're Vardani, they're bestower of blessings. Just coming in contact with that person, you'll get a lot of, even vibes. You get that kind of, you'll feel that energy. Okay, this person is so high frequency and so high in energy. I just can't want to be with this person for the rest of my life. You'll feel that. That is a Vardani, because that person has imbibed the virtues and the knowledge and the powers and the zeal and all sort of things, all sort of spiritually high things they have imbibed in. That is a bestower of a blessing. That is a Vardani. Okay. Now we have Mahadani. Mahadani is also a great donor, just that the percentage is a little bit low from the Vardani. Okay. A Mahadani has also imbibed a lot of knowledge and blessings and powers within themselves, and they will also donate. Okay, they will, give you a direction, a guidance, how to be a Mahadani. Suppose I'm a Mahadani and you are somebody who's new to all the spiritual knowledge. I will guide you. You have to do this way, you have to go there, do this, and all those things. That is a Vardani. Sorry, that is a Mahadani. So now we have a Dani, a donor. Donor, what they do is they learn the knowledge and they listen to it and they get inspired by it and they get impressed by it. Say, for example, I have learned just now that I am a peaceful soul. Okay, I'm very impressed. Yes, I'm a peaceful soul. So I will imbibe some part of it and I'll donate some part of it. Okay, if somebody meets me, I'll say, you are a peaceful soul and I'm also a peaceful soul. I will do something and I'll give something then and there, and then I forget about it. Okay. Then when a challenge comes, I will become angry or agitated or something like that. That's I'm not me. Okay. I'll give you an example. That is an example of a donor. So you have 3 options here. You have to be a donor or a great donor or a bestower of blessing. A Dani, a Mahadani, or a Vardani. You have that choice. Okay. A Dani, वो आपको मार्ग बताएगा, ठीक है? They will show you the path. कि this is the way to go. A Mahadani, they will guide you. This is the way to go. Okay, let me walk you through that path. And the Vardani, they don't have to walk you through that path. You just come in contact with them and okay, this is the path. This is the way to go. You will automatically know. So our aim has to be a Vardani, because that is, that is the that's the highest state of being. Okay, if I want someone to, who comes into my contact to imbibe whatever I have imbibed in myself, without speaking a lot. Okay, that is, that is my highest potential. Okay, and we are all striving to attain that highest potential. That whoever comes in my contact, I don't have to tell them anything. They can just watch me and they can guide themselves. So, and if somebody is even not able to just look at me and walk that path, I will give them full cooperation. Okay, The Vardhani will give them the full cooperation. They will give the knowledge, the power, the wisdom, the everything, the zeal, the enthusiasm, everything. The Vardhani is, rich enough to give all that. And the Mahadani, they will direct you. Okay, they will direct you. This is the way to go. Okay, they will give you the yuktis. Okay, this is the way to go, and they will guide you. This is This is the way to go, and this is how you should be going. Okay, and the Dani will tell you this is the way to go, and now you walk your path. Because they are also running low on here. So I think we have a question here. To start with altruism, I believe it is important to know the vibes of people to help rather than going by the words, looks, or action. These physical traits could be seen. How to be aware of their vibes to have a firm judgment. See, you're talking about taking or giving. You want to be altruistic, but you don't know whom to give what, right? Giving, okay. So vibes as in, like I told you earlier, if you're giving some monetary thing, you have a doubt that it can be misused, that kind of thing. Okay. I would tell you, see, if you're talking about vibes, okay, Rajanji, you're not able to hear? Am I audible, Sapna bhai?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Rajanji, please, you can increase the volume of your system, because the brother and sister saying, okay, hold on. Voice is a bit low. I'm sorry, I'm using a borrowed laptop. My laptop was gone for repair. I'm sorry about that. So I have it maximum. Please adjust your volume. Pitfalls says it's okay. Okay. So now let's come. Okay. Let's come to the point. Okay. I hope I'm audible now, because Pitfalls says it's okay. Okay, so let's come to why. See, there's one thing. If you feel that something is not, the way it has to be, आपको मन में आ रहा है कि कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, don't wait for a proof कि ये इसमें गड़बड़ है. You follow your intention. Okay, you follow your gut feeling. कुछ आपको गड़बड़ लग रहा है तो मतलब you don't wait for it can be right or wrong, but अगर थोड़ा सा भी even a little bit of percentage of doubt is there, then don't go for it. Don't go for it. Follow your gut feeling. But if your gut feeling says okay, everything is okay, but still if you have the option to double check and verify, you do that double checking and verification before. But as I told you about knowledge, especially spiritual knowledge, okay, and the divine wisdom and the virtues and values and powers, for that you don't have to check the vibes. But yes, in the spiritual knowledge, the God says that even that is important. Okay, because if you're trying to give knowledge and people are not willing to listen, you're just wasting your time and energy. Yeah. So you have to really check if that person is willing to accept what I have to give. If you are giving something that the other person is not willing to accept, or they don't have the capacity to accept, then you can just take a break there and and try to find out what is it that really will empower this person. Is it moral? Is it ethical? If you can check that, do that checking before that altruistic act. But things like empathy, like kindness, like compassion, like honesty, like generosity, like a bottle of water or a little bit of food, okay, to those who are needy, these things doesn't have to be checked. But if it is something big and something significant like money or some resources or I would say knowledge, okay, knowledge mainly, then you have to do a checking whether this person has the capacity. See, the biggest kind of donation is there are two types. There are two kinds. One is charity and one is donation. Dan or punya. I talk about this as well. Dan is if something you have in excess you're donating it to somebody. It can be not, again, physical or non-physical or spiritual. If you have an excess, you're giving to somebody, it is done, it is donation. But punya or charity is something different. Okay, charity or punya is if somebody wants something, okay, and it is it is acceptable thing that the person wants, and you're giving that person that, it is punya. So for example, I'm very thirsty. Okay, I've been speaking for 1 hour. I'm thirsty and I want water now. And if you're trying to give me even 36 kinds of delicacies or 36 prakar ka bhog, I don't want that bhog. But usually I have that 36 प्रकार का वो मैंने इतने मुश्किल से बनाया, इतना टाइम लगाया, आपको खाना ही पड़ेगा. That is not going to work, no? So I want what? I just want what? So that you have to take care. Whatever you're giving, as a person, but the biggest thing, the biggest and the highest kind of donation, you don't have to take any kind of permission to anybody's blessings. इसका भी भला हो. Simple one-liner. इसका भला हो. या इसको भी भगवान सद्बुद्धि दे. Even if that person is trying to harm you or cursing you or shouting you or abusing you or anything, because these kind of things, you get to face in real life. The person is trying to really abuse you or pull you down or talk you down or demean you or belittle you. These kind of things happens in all organizations, especially in the corporate. Because people want to get higher and higher, and people think that it is by pushing others that they get higher. No, you rise by raising others. दूसरों का भला करने से, दूसरों का पुण्य करने से ही आप आगे बढ़ेंगे, and not by pushing down others or pulling down others. You have to raise others, and then you will raise in life. Okay, so you have to remember that. So all the spiritual things, you don't have to take anybody's permission. A blessing, कि इसका भी भला हो, इसका भी कल्याण हो, पुण्य हो. That is the biggest kind of donation you can make to the society, and it will, you will get multi-million fold. Okay, blessings ka aapko multi-million fold. You bless the earth, you bless everybody, you bless the nature, you bless the animals, you bless little organisms. Okay, including human beings. You bless even God. God ko thank you bolo. Blessing ki to zarurat nahi, unko thank you bolo. Practice gratitude. All these things are altruistic actions. So make it a practice to practice to imbibe all those things in your life and do it practically. Practically करने का जो है start करो, फिर वो आगे बढ़ता जाएगा और आपको प्राप्ति भी बहुत होती जाएगी. So I think my time is up. That was why is Swapnaban, if there are any more questions, I would like to take them.
Thank you so much, Sister Rehna, for this wonderful session. We'll have a few minutes of question and answer session because we have only less than 20 minutes. So I would request all the participants to write down their questions in the chat box. Or if anyone wanted to ask, please raise your hand. We'll unmute you. Sister, we have one question. How to remain light and calm in high stress environment in IT?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
How to remain light or calm in high stress environment in IT
industry? How to remain calm in high stress environment in the IT industry? Okay, so for that you need a little bit more than being altruistic. Okay, like I said earlier, altruism doesn't happen in one day. एक दिन में आप महादानी नहीं बन जाएंगे. But if you want to remain calm, okay, you practice any kind of, first you learn any kind of meditation, not just the Raj Yoga meditation would be best. Okay, this I'll tell you other things. Okay, because in Raj Yoga meditation, it is about realizing the self. Okay, and realizing who you really belong to. You want to remain stress-free, and you are asking me the question how to remain calm in IT industry. Okay, while I was working in the IT industry, I didn't know how to remain calm. Okay, because I did not learn Raj Yoga meditation then. Only after many years in the IT industry, I learned Rajaga meditation, but somehow I managed. But here you have the awareness that you are an IT professional. Okay, you are a software engineer or a hardware engineer or a system analyst or a cloud architect or a team leader or a business analyst. You are in that awareness. Okay, you are a manager or a vice president or a director. You are in that awareness. When you are in that workplace, you are in under that awareness, which unfortunately is not the real you. Okay. And when you go home, you are in the awareness of you are either a son or a daughter or a father or a child or a wife or a husband. Okay, so you are in that awareness. So ideally, this false awareness is causing all the stress. You think you are the role because you are not a son, you are not a father, you are not a husband, you are not an IT professional, you are not a hardware software engineer, cloud, nothing. These are all roles that you're playing. So you need to learn to separate yourself from the role that you're playing. You have to have the awareness of your real self. That self-awareness has to be there. Okay, it's like practicing an affirmation. You know how affirmation works? Say, for example, you are entering a room, okay, and the room is dark. It's dark, it's 8 o'clock in the night, it's dark, and you are entering a room and the room is dark. Okay, the moment you switch on the light, the room is lit and bright. Okay, so that practicing affirmation is like lighting you're switching on the light. Okay, a switch of the light which gives which lightens the whole room. Likewise, if you practice the affirmation, I am not a software professional, I am a soul, and peaceful soul playing the role, that will, drive away all the darkness in your mind. And that is how you can empower yourself. Okay. So keep that switch ready. Okay. So one is practice affirmation. One is, if you have learned the Raj Yoga meditation, you know that you are a peaceful soul. If you haven't learned, you learn it. You will get all the tools, all the affirmation, all the yuktis to keep yourself stable and calm. There are other technique also, being mindful. Okay, being mindful means you have to focus on one thing at a time. That is mindfulness. Okay, suppose I am taking the session. Okay, if I'm constantly aware of the fact that I have some task in the kitchen, or I have to clean up my room, or I have to go out for some work, I have to do shopping. If I'm constantly thinking about that while I'm taking the session, I'll be stressed. Okay, so you have to instead, in addition to learning Rajyoga meditation and having that self-awareness and that practicing that affirmation, you have to remain in the present. Do one task at a time. Yes, distractions will be there, definitely will be there, but keep a safe distance, a safe pause between those distractions. Okay, suppose you are a coder. Okay, you are a software developer, you're coding something. Somebody might ask you to write a email to somebody or call a client and ask for something. This distraction will happen, but don't drastically move from one task to another to another to another. That multitasking, it really drains you. So this is one thing. You have to have that, safe time distance, okay, between every task. That mindfulness has to be there. Practicing affirmation will help. Taking deep breaths, okay, that also helps. It is a kind of meditation, that breath meditation. You focus on your breath and all these things are there. But when you take a deep breath, and make sure that you don't make any noise because it can be disturbing to others, taking a deep breath really helps. So all these things are there. You have to select what best works for you, whether it's the Rajaga meditation, whether it's practicing meditation, being aware of the self, or taking this deep breath, or taking a break. Taking a break again, don't take that cigarette break and all those, the coffee break and all those things, Nowadays, when people get tired or stressed, either they indulge in all these things, the tobacco, alcohol, all these things, either they indulge in scrolling, endless scrolling, or overeating, or sleeping, eating, sleeping, scrolling, okay, or these abusive substances. These are the things that they resort to reduce this, but it won't work. In the long run, it is going to pull you down, drastically pull you down. So learn meditation, practice mindfulness. practice this, exercise. Go for a walk. Okay, go for a walk or take the stairs instead of taking the lift. Take the stairs. All these things would really. I hope all these things make some, meaning to make sense to you. Is there any question?
Sister, thank you so much. And if anyone is having any questions, please write to us at bbsritwing@gmail.com. And we would request participants, those who are new and yet to done Raj Yoga meditation, kindly visit your nearby meditation center and take the 7-day basic course, which is free of cost. And now we move to the next part, that is the vote of thanks. So I would request Brother Pitfalls for vote of thanks.